I enjoy being part of the data management discussion because it is an interesting way to explore big questions about the needs of our communities, about the needs of families and children. And we wouldn't be able to have those discussions if we didn't have data, and our data wouldn't be trustworthy if we didn't have a good way to collect it and manage it.
The Pelican EI system is Pennsylvania's technology product that helps to support and link children across networks. The data system was built back in 2007 with a vision of starting with a Part C case management project, and throughout the years rolling in the data for our Part C programs. And then in 2010 we also brought our 619 program into the case management functions of our data system. During that time as well, we also implemented fiscal management practices with our Part C program.
The system was implemented over time, so now every child that receives early intervention, whether it's infant, toddler, or preschool, is in the system, which means that we now have a complete picture of the data in Pennsylvania. It also means that we're going to be able to take a look at our kids in the future, meaning that we can start to do some work on impacts of early intervention as children go into the school system.
Enhancements to a data system are critical if you'd like your data system to be sustainable.
I think there needs to be an ongoing process of enhancement. The data questions that we are trying to answer change over time. The questions we're asking ourselves change, and our stakeholders' needs change as well. I think the other enhancement issue is that technology changes. If we weren't talking about how Pelican AI was working for us, we would start to fall behind in terms of the usability and the effectiveness of the system.
Our stakeholders have been very good at ensuring that we are aware of how they're feeling about the data system. So as they are implementing new practices or new ideas, they're evaluating how they're able to effectively accomplish that with the technology. And so we're able to take that feedback on a regular basis and prioritize what it is that we think would be the best and most effective changes in order to accomplish their local goals.
A small enhancement that we made recently was to improve the format of our evaluation report. It seems small, but it mattered to our programs a lot because they did not like presenting materials to the families that was difficult to read. So it was a practical change that increased our local stakeholders' use of the system, increased their comfort with it, and you could argue that it improved their ability to communicate effectively with families.
Data systems will only provide to you what you invest in them. When you are investing in a data system, you need to be very intentional about what you're looking for in a data system, be very obvious about what you're looking for in a data system, and make no assumptions. It's important to know that once you've built this data system, it's with you, and you will have to sometimes adapt to the mistakes that you make, and we certainly made some along the way.
One of the biggest learnings for me when I went from local to state leadership was just how complicated data management systems were, and how complicated data change was, and how important it was to talk about what your needs are before you start building. So I think you have to have processes in place to make sure that you've got a good sense of your program's management needs and a good sense of how to solve those problems. How do you want your program to really work? What's going to be efficient? What's going to help your stakeholders?
Wherever a state is at in terms of a development of a new system or enhancements to their current system, there's a state that's either at that same point now or has recently walked that path. So one of the more important things that DAISY does is connect those states to learn about things that have worked for other states, missteps that have happened, and overall giving them a real true path of what the lessons learned have been along the way.
One of the things that we used as a strategy in the development of our data system was to ensure that we were always staying grounded into why we were doing the work that we were doing. And of course, that is focusing on the successes of children and their families. So we had an opportunity to link parent leaders with the technology developers. We got a lot of fantastic feedback from using that strategy from our technology vendor, because they understood that this data system wasn't about a really cool technology product, but it was about families and about children, and that it was gathering data about real people and being used to help manage real situations for kids.